And you're not expecting me to sing. But how many people here have actually edited Wikipedia? Made some edits? Okay, that's pretty good. I usually get a larger number if I'm speaking to college students, but in a general public lecture, that's actually pretty good. So a lot of people who've just used Wikipedia by, you type some search in a search engine and then you end up going to read something in Wikipedia. Or maybe if you've edited, but only a little bit, you might not have all of the ideas behind Wikipedia and understand what it is. So I like to give the basic definition. Wikipedia is a freely licensed encyclopedia written by thousands of volunteers in many languages. So when I talk about free access to the sum of all human knowledge, or I talk about free licensing, this is a really core part of everything that we're doing, and I think it's a really important thing to understand. The idea here is that we're talking about free in the sense of open source software, free software. This is a movement in the software world that has become incredibly important. And the idea is that instead of having some software that is made and then sold, the way a lot of software is, that instead it's just offered freely available for anyone to change and modify. There's basically 4 freedoms that are important in the free software idea. So you have the freedom to copy, you have the freedom to modify, the freedom to redistribute, and the freedom to redistribute modified versions. And you can do all of these things commercially or non-commercially. So this set of ideas was first put forward by Richard Stallman, who founded the Free Software Foundation. And even if you're not a technical person, you've probably at least heard of a lot of open source or free software, things like Linux, which is used to run a lot of servers that are running the internet, Apache, which is a web server software. Lots of people are using Firefox, so Firefox is available freely under a free license that you can take the source code and modify it. Well, this became a very large scale movement within the software world and now coexists very comfortably with traditional software. And I saw all these programmers coming together to create really amazing projects. And I realized that people could collaborate in the same fashion on things beyond just software. And that in fact there's something really important and really powerful about this idea. There's an old joke in the free software movement where we say, we're talking about free as in speech, not free as in beer. Well, this is funny. In English, we don't really have 2 separate words, libre and gratis. We have only the one word free, and so it's a little confusing to people. But the idea of free here is that you have these freedoms for all of the work in Wikipedia. You can do all of these things with it, which means that when people are contributing to Wikipedia, they aren't just contributing to this humanitarian project. They're actually contributing to a storehouse of knowledge that is going to be able to be reused in many, many different contexts in the future. So what do I mean when I say the sum of all human knowledge? This is to help define what does it mean to be an encyclopedia. And the idea is that Wikipedia is an encyclopedia. It's not anything else, and it's certainly not everything in the world. Wikipedia is not an archive, it's not a library, it's not a textbook. Wikipedia is not YouTube, so we don't have funny cat videos. I love YouTube, I love funny cat videos, but there's all kinds of different things that people are doing online that are not encyclopedia projects. And so it's very important for us within the Wikipedia world to always recognize the core values of the encyclopedia. We're trying to write something that is neutral, high quality, factual information that people can find useful. We're not MySpace or Facebook, so we're not a social networking site. Wikipedia is very social. A lot of the people who are working in Wikipedia, of course, they're talking to each other every day online. We have a lot of local meetups, and people come together, and they'll have dinner once a month and things like this. So it's a very social site, but we don't consider ourselves a social network per se. That's just not what we are. The idea is that an encyclopedia presents an essentialized summary of human knowledge with the depth of the material depending on the context. So what this means is that if I go into Wikipedia and I look for some very general topic, something like the Eiffel Tower in Paris, I should get an article that is easily accessible to anyone who can read. You can understand it. It tells you the basic facts about the Eiffel Tower, has a couple of pictures probably, tells the history. All of those kinds of things are what you would expect to find in an encyclopedia entry. And if you go and you look up some very complex concept in mathematics, well, that entry is probably going to be a lot more in depth, and it's going to be a little bit harder to understand. But hopefully we'll have links to other articles in Wikipedia that will help you get to the point where you can understand partial differential equations or something like this. So this is the main framework of ideas that defines what is in Wikipedia and what is not in Wikipedia. So I'm always talking about Wikipedia as being for every single person on the planet. And we are in many, many languages, but I also think it's important to recognize that we have some strengths and some weaknesses in this area. So how global is Wikipedia? Well, as most people are aware, English is the largest version of Wikipedia with over 3 million articles, but there are many other languages that have quite a large number of articles. We have German, French, Polish, Japanese, Italian, Dutch, Spanish, and Portuguese. These languages all have more than 500,000 entries. The Germans are getting very, very close to 1 million. They're going to reach it, just in a number of days, really. And the Italian version of Wikipedia is over 600,000 entries. So, as you can see, it's one of the strong language versions, and particularly if you think about comparing it to the Spanish Wikipedia, because think of how many people are speaking Spanish all around the world, and it's smaller than the Italian Wikipedia, so that's very good. We have also Russian, Swedish, and Chinese, all with more than 250,000. But what you see when you look at the top languages of Wikipedia, you see that the strongest languages of Wikipedia are the European languages plus Japanese and Chinese. Chinese is not that big, actually, considering that there are far more than 1 billion people who are speaking Chinese. We were completely banned in China for 3 years, and that obviously hurt the growth. But there are more Chinese people outside of mainland China than there are Germans, period. So, and I guess then Italians, right? There are a lot of Chinese people in the world, so they've done quite a bit of work. But you can see it's really primarily in the European languages, including English. And so this is really where the strength is. And this is something that we expect to change over time because more and more people are coming online. One of the things that you might notice, which is a little bit fun, is that we have, for example, the Dutch Wikipedia and the Swedish Wikipedia are very, very large, even though there are not that many people who are speaking. I just came from Norway. Norway has fewer than 5 million people are speaking Bokmål, the main language of Norway, and yet they have 230,000 articles. So I always say one of the factors that contributes to the growth of Wikipedia language is cold weather. I mean, in Italy, in the evenings, you can go out for a stroll and have some gelato, and in Sweden, you just stay inside and work on Wikipedia because it's too cold to go out. But well, I'm joking, but I'm not so sure it's all a joke. We can look here at the Hindi Wikipedia, though, in contrast. So Hindi is the largest language of India, and Hindi has more than 280 million speakers. And so in comparison to these other languages, it's very, very far behind. And what are the reasons for that? Well, the reasons are all of the obvious reasons. In the Hindi language, the rate of literacy is low, and so a lot of the people are speaking Hindi, but they can't read and write. Access to technology, access to computers, and in particular access to broadband internet. If all you have is a very slow internet connection, it can be very uncomfortable to edit Wikipedia. It just takes too long and it slows you down. Additionally, let's see, what did I say? This access to computers. In a lot of languages, including Hindi, they have a lot of problems with the keyboards. Actually, they've had a really hard time achieving standards. It's very hard. Most of the people in India who are working on computers are working in English. The very large IT sector, very successful, but the elite people who are able to afford a computer, they're all able to speak in English, and so they end up doing a lot of things in English. And one of the reasons, even though they would prefer to work in their own mother tongue, it's very difficult to type Hindi, for example, on an English